Hi, this is Dr. Tyagarajan, Professor, ECE Department, RMT Engineering College. In this video, I am going to explain the communication methods used by I/O devices. There are three methods to communicate with I/O devices. Here, we will take the CPU, the main memory, and the hard disk for transferring data. So, in three ways, the data can be transferred between these devices. The first one is programmed I/O or polling method. The second one is interrupt driven I/O. The third one is direct memory access. In the first method, this indicates that CPU wants to enter in data transfer, and this continue indicates that the CPU will continue its work. When the CPU wants to transfer data from the disk, it will be always checking the status of the disk. That is, whether the disk is ready to transfer or not. If it is not ready, again it will be waiting until the disk is ready. If the disk is ready, then the disk will send data to the CPU. Then from CPU, the data will be sent to main memory, because the data transfer will be done only through the CPU or microprocessor. See, if the data transfer is over, then the CPU will continue with other works. If it does not over, then it will be again checking the status of the disk until it is free. So in this method, the CPU time is wasted by just checking the status of the disk. So this is called as polling. So to improve this method, the next one is interrupt driven I/O. In this method, when the CPU wants to transfer data or to read or write from the disk, it will first issue the read or write request to the disk. Then it will be doing other processes. Other processes means it may not access the buses. It will be doing the execution inside the CPU. Then when the disk is ready, the disk will issue an interrupt signal, and the data transfer will be done by executing the interrupt service routine. This service routine will be executed by the CPU. So it may not do any other work. It will transfer data, or it will read data from the disk, and it will transfer it to the main memory. When the data transfer is over, then the CPU will continue with other works. If the data transfer is not over, again it will issue read or write signal to the disk. Then the same process will be repeated. In this case, if the disk is not ready to transfer, the CPU need not wait by checking the disk. It can continue its work. When the disk is ready, the disk is issuing an interrupt, then the data transfer is happening. So in this way, the CPU time is saved. Then the third method will completely make the CPU free from data transfer. That means in this case, the CPU, the memory, disk all are connected on the same bus. Always they are connected on the same bus. When the data transfer is to happen, that means, for example, if the CPU wants to read disk, then it is happening like this. From the disk, the data is transferred to CPU. Then this data should be written in the on the main memory, because the CPU may not hold large amount of data. It has to write on the main memory. So the data transfer between disk and main memory is happening through the CPU only. So the CPU time will be wasted by just doing data transfer instead of executing the programs. But in the direct memory transfer, what is happening means a DMA controller, direct memory access controller, is used. That itself is a specialized processor. So this DMA controller will issue the starting address and the number of bytes to be transferred from the disk. The DMA controller will also give the starting address to the memory. So from the starting address and the number of bytes, it will read a block of data from the disk, and it will store that block with the starting address given to the memory. So all these things will bypass the CPU. CPU will not come into picture. All the data transfer will be done directly between disk and memory through the specialized DMA controller. So in this method, the disk is transferring data to the memory, and it will use all the buses, data bus and address bus. So the CPU may not use those buses. But in another method called cycle stealing mode, the DMA controller will transfer only few bytes when the CPU is not using the bus, because in each instruction the CPU will not be using some clock periods. Those clock periods will be used by the DMA controller to transfer data between disk and memory directly. So this will continue until all data are transferred to the memory. So when the data transfer is completed, the DMA controller will interrupt the CPU to inform that the data transfer has been completed by it.